Grandpa Ron here again. We're going to get back into our very basic Bible study. We've been going through Genesis, and now we're up to chapter 46, where we're going to see the account of Joseph's family actually coming to Egypt to live. So let's see what happens here. Chapter 46, verse 1. So Israel set out with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. So he's at a place where other offerings have been made, a special place to them, and to Abraham and Isaac as well. And he's starting off his journey down to Egypt with worship and prayer. And let's see what happened. Verse 2, and God spoke to Israel in visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. And he said, I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you a great nation there. I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also surely bring you up again, and Joseph will close your eyes. Now, one reason he might be concerned to go down to Egypt is, if you remember, when we studied chapter 15, God had told him that his descendants would be strangers in a foreign land for 400 years. And I'm sure Abram related that account to Isaac, and then Isaac to Jacob, now called Israel. And he may have been concerned about that. But God is saying, don't worry about this. I'm going to be with you. Go down there, and eventually I'm going to bring your descendants out of there. Okay, so he's putting Jacob's mind at ease here. Verse 5. Then Jacob arose from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried their father Jacob and their little ones and their wives in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. And they took their livestock and their property which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and came to Egypt, Jacob and all his descendants with him, his sons and his grandsons with him, his daughters and his granddaughters, and all his descendants he brought with him to Egypt. So they've packed up lock, stock, and barrel. The whole tribe, everybody is on their way to Egypt. And now we're going to get a listing of his sons that are going down to Egypt, so we can kind of get a count of at least the direct sons of Israel. Verse 8. Now these are the names of the sons of Israel, Jacob and his sons who went to Egypt. Okay. Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Palu and Hezron and Carmi. And the sons of Simeon, Jemuel, Amin, Ohad, Shakin, and Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. Verse 11. And the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. And the sons of Judah, Onan, and Shelah, and Perez, and Zerah. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. And the sons of Issachar, Tola, Puvah, Iob, and Shimron. And the sons of Zebulun, Sered and Elon and Jahiel. These are the sons of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob in Paddan Aram with his daughter Dinah. All his sons and his daughters numbered 33. So we're getting a pretty good count here. Verse 16. And the sons of Gad, Siphon, Haggai, Shuni, Ezbon, Eri, or Arodai, and Areli. As usual, I butcher these names. I apologize. Verse 17. And the sons of Asher, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah, and their sister Sarah. And the sons of Beriah, Heber, and Malshiel. These are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Leah. And she bore to Jacob these 16 persons. The sons of Jacob's wife Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. Now to Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bore to him. And the sons of Benjamin, Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Mupim, and Hupim, and Ard. These are the sons of Rachel who were born to Jacob. There were 14 in all. Verse 23. And the sons of Dan, Hushim, and the sons of Naphtali, Jaziel, and Guni, and Jezer, and Shalim. These are the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Rachel, and she bore these to Jacob. There were 7 persons in all. So we've had this long list, and as I said before, we may not understand why God includes this list, but one reason is for us to realize this isn't some kind of a fairy tale or whatever. These are real people in a real time, real numbers, and we get a feel of exactly how many people are going down into Egypt. Verse 26. All the persons belonging to Jacob who came to Egypt, his direct descendants, not including the wives of Jacob's sons, were 66 persons in all, and the sons of Joseph who were born to him in Egypt were 2. All the persons of the house of Jacob who came to Egypt were 70. Now, my footnote here reminds us that the total number of people is greater than 70 because they haven't added in here the wives of Jacob's sons, his grandsons, husbands, daughters, granddaughters. The number would have been greater than 70, but these are the key people here, the key descendants. But we're talking about a relatively small number. And we need to keep that in mind because it gives us perspective when we look at the book of Exodus, when they finally leave Egypt 430 years later. The number is, estimates vary, but let's say for sure a couple of million. So in those 430 years, we've grown from this relatively small number to numbers in the millions, a couple of million. Verse 28. Now he sent Judah before him to Joseph to point out the way before him to Goshen, and they came to the land of Goshen. So this was a route that they weren't familiar with, so he sent Judah on ahead. And Joseph prepared his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. As soon as he appeared before him, he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a long time. So finally, after all these years, he's reunited with his father. Interesting that Joseph, because of his position, rides a chariot, which would have been horse-drawn, which would be a status symbol showing his rank or status in the kingdom. Verse 30. Then Israel said to Joseph, now let me die, since I have seen your face, that you are still alive. Well, he's going to live quite a bit longer, but it's an expression. I can die now. I've been reunited with my son. Verse 31. And Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, I will go up and tell Pharaoh, and will say to him, my brothers and my father's household who were in the land of Canaan have come to me. And the men are shepherds, for they have been keepers of livestock, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. So he's going to be honest with Pharaoh and explain the background of his family. Keep in mind that Egypt, even though they had flocks and herds, the role of a shepherd or livestock keeper was very low, the bottom rung of society. And we know that God's working this out so that they will be pretty much segregated in an area all their own, at least to start with. Verse 33. And it shall come about when Pharaoh calls you and says, what is your occupation? That you shall say, your servants have been keepers of livestock from our youth even until now, both we and our fathers, that you may live in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is loathsome to the Egyptians. So this kind of Joseph's plan to have them live in the land of Goshen, which is a prime area, and be separate from the influences of the pagan and idolatrous Egyptians. And so, for now, everything's going well. They're highly esteemed by nature of their relationship to Joseph. They're given some prime areas to stay in. They're kind of pampered with stuff. They didn't have to bring all of their belongings because Egypt is going to provide for them, and Joseph is going to provide for them. So as long as Joseph is alive, they fare very well. We're going to see things change over this 430 years, but not necessarily in the book of Genesis. I think Genesis is going to have a better ending than that. But beyond Genesis, during this 430 years, we're going to have pharaohs come to power that have a different attitude, that never knew Joseph, that become threatened as Israel grows and multiplies. But for now, God is blessing them, keeping them separate and apart, and everything's going well. I hope this has been meaningful to you, and hope you'll watch the next one. In the meantime, God bless. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.